the Ben Garcia show, and there's some things going on. Could Devin Booker be traded if Kevin Durant's haul for the Phoenix Suns in a deal isn't good enough? And is Marvin Harrison Jr., I hate to use this word, already overrated by Arizona Cardinals fans? It's the last day of the week for a Ben Garcia show, so let's end on a high note. Talk to you guys in a couple of seconds.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day, however you're watching, wherever you're watching. Thank you for making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially even tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show, or don't. Listen, I'm no beggar. I just been told that I need to ask for it. As well as, don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Holy cow, the chat is getting, or the amount of people watching this morning is already starting to shoot through the roof, so I will try to make it quick with all the plugging, so I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. That is all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is, social media platform, I am there. Let's get started right away. What the people want to listen to, what the people want to watch, is all things Kevin Durant trade rumors, Kevin Durant trade sagas. You know, I gotta be honest with you guys as I take a quick sip of my water before we get going. The Kevin Durant trade saga is exhausting. And if I'm being really honest with you guys, everyone is already starting to assume that the Phoenix Suns are going to get fleeced in a deal. It doesn't matter what the deal is, they automatically think the Phoenix Suns are already getting fleeced in whatever deal that they are going to get back for Kevin Durant. My point to that would be, can we just let it simmer for now? We're not sure what the Suns will get back. I'll be honest with you, I am also starting to feel a little concerned about the Phoenix Suns not getting much back in a deal. And I talked about this last night with my guy, Brendan Clean, on Locked On Phoenix Suns, but I feel like it's worth reiterating for you guys. And that's this. If the Suns don't get much back for Kevin Durant, it directly affects the future of Devin Booker. Now, what does that mean? Could that mean that the Phoenix Suns end up losing Devin Booker as a whole? I don't think that happens this season. But to the amount of people that are just saying Devin Booker wants to be here because he idolizes Kobe Bryant, because he's someone who has always been a big proponent of staying with one team, he's loyal. Guys, you got to get out of La La Land. Steve Nash didn't finish his career with the Phoenix Suns. Carmelo Anthony didn't finish his career with the Nuggets or, at that point, the Knicks. LeBron James didn't finish his career with one team. For every Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry, there are a million other athletes out there who do not play with the same team forever. Like, Dwayne Wade is even a bigger one where you're like, holy cow, that guy, he didn't finish with the Heat? No, he went to the Bulls and the Cavs before he made it back to his hometown, or before he made it back to his first team. So if you're looking at a deal where the Phoenix Suns end up getting Devin Vassell and the 14th overall pick, or just scraps back for Kevin Durant, you are talking about a world that, could you lose Devin Booker this year? And then immediately what everyone goes to is Devin Booker's probably not hitting that button this year unless the guy really just doesn't care about money. The reason why Devin Booker is not getting traded this year and why he's not entertaining it is because he's got $75 million a year coming to him in an extension from the Phoenix Suns. That's happening this year. That'll add a couple of more years on his current deal, which makes him even more of a hot commodity when he goes on the market next year. But if you don't think Devin Booker is looking with a keen eye what the Phoenix Suns could get back in a deal, and right now it's not looking so great. I was talking with my guy Jackson Gatlin of Locked On Houston Rockets, and yesterday he's mentioning what the Phoenix Suns might get back in a deal with the Houston Rockets. And those deals don't look great either. It's a lot of Jabari Smiths and the 10th overall pick. The Suns don't have a choice. There's a reason why they're waiting out. There's a reason why when Gamble reports there's probably a deal done sometime this week, he's already like, well, let me take that through the weekend because I'm not sure that's going to be the case for this team. It might not be. Meaning Kevin Durant might get traded right before the draft starts. This team has to hold out for the best deal. They know it. It could end up in losing Devin Booker. And that is something you can't take lightly. Don't take Devin Booker's loyalty as a weakness. It only takes one other player, one other franchise to get in his ear and say, you want to waste your prime years with them? So this is why if you're worried about the Suns getting fleeced in a Kevin Durant deal, maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe the Suns know that they might just have to run it back with Kevin Durant. Maybe they know they will hold Kevin Durant hostage if they need to, meaning they'll keep him on the team. They'll keep him on him for as long as they need to get the best deal possible. This is why they're holding out for a deal like one with the Minnesota Timberwolves and trying to get the best possible deal back. It's why yesterday, when you catch wind of potentially the Suns looking at Rudy Gobert and Dante DiVincenzo and Rob Dillingham and the 17th overall pick in this year's draft, why you have to jump all over that. Because you have to be able to keep this team competitive around Devin Booker. Here is something that people got pissed at me for yesterday. Like, called me crazy. I can't believe I get called crazy for these kind of tweets. And that was this. Yesterday, when the Lakers got new ownership, I immediately tweeted out, and I talked to my guy, Jason McIntyre of The Herd about this, and that's why he ended up quote tweeting it, is the Lakers getting brand new ownership scares the hell out of me. If the Suns botch this KD deal and this season goes worse than expected, look for the Lakers a new ownership to make a splash and make an offer to the Suns they can't refuse. Something to think about. And every message back is, my guy Cam Cox, respect your thoughts, couldn't disagree more. They don't have the assets. That's not true, but whatever. We'll actually expect the league to force another trade to the Lakers. With what assets? NBA has a different financial system than MLB. Like, everyone just shot me down. Like, it's something that can never happen. Like, it's out of the ordinary. Like, Devin Booker is special in his loyalty to the Phoenix Suns. And ultimately, guys, I just don't see that. That's not where I go when we talk about what happens with Devin Booker. Immediately, I look at the Lakers and I think that's a team that is licking their chops if Devin Booker sees that the Kevin Durant trade is botched by the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers just got new ownership. The one thing about the Los Angeles Lakers for the past 50 years was they were a mom and pop shop. They were a team that was believe it or not, because they're the Los Angeles Lakers, it's shocking to believe, but they had one of the poorest owners in the NBA in terms of cash flow, which means really any team could outspend the Lakers. They had a lot of equity, but all of that equity was in the Lakers franchise. Now, Jeannie Buss is like one of the most richest people alive because she has $10 billion, but she didn't have that before because it's what the team was evaluated at. It's just wild to think that if the Suns botch this deal, that Devin Booker's just going to turn a blind eye to it. That's not the case, guys. And it has to stop being treated like one. You have to look at other teams such as the Lakers, such as really any team in the NBA that is looking at the Phoenix Suns and thinking, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what that team could be looking at if Kevin Durant is traded for nothing. So At the end of the day, I continue to believe that I think the Suns might get back more in a deal and not less in a deal, because I think the Suns are going to be forced to ultimately wait for the best offer. You have to. And they're going to hold Kevin Durant hostage. And it's why I think at the end of the day, a deal is attainable for a Rob Dillingham, a Rudy Gobert, a Dante DiVincenzo, and an extra pick. But this affects Devin Booker just as much as it affects Kevin Durant. If the Suns don't get anything for him, they know Devin Booker could be next. Because you're not going to be able to put an actual team around him over the next couple of seasons. Rudy Gobert and Dante DiVincenzo is fine, but what you're really looking at is, can Rob Dillingham turn into a star? Can the number 17th overall pick, Carter Bryant, for instance, turn into a star? And then you're cooking. And then over the next couple of seasons, you get competitive again, some picks become available to you to be able to trade, and you pair someone with Devin Booker. But all I can think about yesterday was, when the Lakers got new ownership, it was, oh God, the Suns can't botch this Kevin Durant deal. Because if they do, oh God, man, it could spiral in a disaster that leads you to trading Devin Booker. And it doesn't mean you won't get assets back for him. He'll be loaded. But does anyone want to lose their golden goose? Does anyone want to lose their guy? No. And especially to a team like the Lakers. And of course, that's just a team that I pull out of my you-know-what. But I can't act like it's not a possibility. And here's what I'll say really quickly about all the Kevin Durant trade speculation. And guys, if you are here this morning, it looks like we have a decent amount of you guys watching this morning. If you go ahead, hit that like button. It does me a huge favor. I'm here every morning, 7 a.m., doing these shows, talking all things Arizona sports. But back over to Kevin Durant. Here's why I don't really believe anything when it comes to reporting. One moment, we have Kevin Durant is absolutely getting dealt next week. This week, you're like, deals might not be there. But it's not just that. It's also the fact that Kevin Durant doesn't want to go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now the Minnesota Timberwolves are saying, we're good. We don't really want Kevin Durant here if he doesn't want to be here. And then you have Gambo saying, well, the Minnesota Timberwolves continue to have the best offer available to them. And that also goes with the Houston Rockets. So I think there's a fine line of like Jabari Smith Jr., the 10th overall pick, and Jalen Green, who, God, I really don't want back on the Phoenix Suns. I do think there's a fine line of what the Phoenix Suns are going to get back in a deal for Kevin Durant. I think it's not going to be Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason and Jabari Smith and a first-round pick. That sounds like far too much. But I think what you're looking at is some of the similar framework that you're hearing out in Minnesota. And that could be enough to keep Devin Booker around. But overall, at the end of the day, this is why you don't listen to betting markets. They change on the daily, and it doesn't mean anything. It just shows you where people are betting. Last week, it was definitely the Spurs. On Monday, it was definitely the Timberwolves. Today, now it's definitely the Heat. Everyone is spewing out nonsense. And it doesn't mean you should believe any of it, but it does mean you should take some of it with a grain of salt. And when you're talking about Devin Booker, you have to take it all fairly seriously, because you know at the end of the day, this KD stuff affects everything when it comes to Devin Booker's future. All right. I appreciate the many people being in the chat this morning. I'm here every day at 7 a.m. Here on the Ben Garcia Show. We're talking all things Arizona sports. Oftentimes, especially recently, it's a lot of Phoenix Suns, Arizona Cardinals. But we are here Monday through Thursday. Probably going to be here tomorrow too, if a Kevin Durant trade does end up happening. But I am here Monday through Thursday. All right. We talk all things Arizona sports here. And yesterday, this one caught my eye. Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Arizona Cardinals wide receiving core was ranked 19th into the was ranked 19th amongst other Pro Football Focus ranked NFL groups. Thanks to my guy in the chat telling me to fix that title. That's kind of embarrassing, but when you're a one-man band here on the Ben Garcia Show, that happens. So let me start over really quickly. So the Arizona Cardinals were ranked 19th according to Pro Football Focus in terms of wide receiving corps. My mistake there. The Arizona Cardinals were ranked 18th amongst all NFL wide receiving corps, and this is what Pro Football Focus had to say to that. Behind teams like the Colts, the Jaguars, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Commanders. The Cowboys seem a little low here, but damn. The Cardinals tied for 11th in Team Pro Football Focus receiving grade at 78.3. Trey McBride was a monster, posting the second best Pro Football Focus receiving grade at 89.8. Marvin Harrison Jr. started off slow in 2024, but the rookie campaign finished with a solid 77 receiving grade. Also, Michael Wilson, believer, plus James Conner. It's a very impressive backfield, but not impressive enough to be in the top 15 is what basically I'm reading. And here's what's interesting about the Marvin Harrison Jr. Arizona Cardinals receiving core issues. People tend to get really offended when you talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. in a certain way. Here's what worries me about Marvin Harrison Jr., his fans, and everyone that supports the Arizona Cardinals. And I think, to me, it goes like this. If you are a Marvin Harrison Jr. guy and someone tells you they're skeptical of Marvin Harrison Jr., and you immediately go into name calling, you don't know what you're talking about, freaking out, that worries me that you don't even believe what Marvin Harrison Jr. is. It's like when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, right? If I told someone Patrick Mahomes sucks, they wouldn't argue with me. They'd say, okay, man, I think the same smell test happens with Marvin Harrison Jr. If I tell you Marvin Harrison Jr. had a disappointing-ish rookie campaign and you freak out on me, it tells me to believe that's a sore, sensitive subject to you. And so I'm going to keep on saying it. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a fine rookie season. He was good. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. Good player. However, guys, at the end of the day, he was the 4th overall pick in the draft. What Marvin Harrison Jr. did wasn't good enough. Now, there are other factors, extenuating circumstances, when it comes to Marvin Harrison Jr. You could talk about the fact that they weren't a pass-heavy offense. You can talk about that he was the second best receiver on his own team, given Trey McBride. But 885 yards, 8 touchdowns in 17 games played. And I know everyone loves to talk about, well, his dad had roughly the same rookie season. Well, they played 16 games back then. Cardinals played 17 games. Marvin Harrison Jr. having a campaign where it was 885 yards, I think the Marvin Harrison Jr. topic is really divided. I think some people think he's awesome and are waiting for him to be awesome. But what's truly fair about Marvin Harrison Jr. is that his rookie year underwhelmed a little bit. 885 yards and 8 touchdowns and all the other things around it is fine. However, he was drafted 4th overall. And to the people that say, well, blame Kyler Murray, Justin Jefferson is awesome with whatever quarterback he has. DeAndre Hopkins was awesome with whatever quarterback he has. Larry Fitzgerald was awesome with whatever quarterback he has. You cannot be so contingent on your worth given whatever quarterback you have. That's what second-tier wide receivers do. I mean, A.J. Green for years, his best quarterback was Andy Dalton, and he was awesome. So when you talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., I get it. He's a rookie, and he still might be awesome. But I think Cardinals fans have overrated his rookie season just a little bit. When you talk about the best wide receivers in that draft, you could make a top 4 list, and Marvin Harrison Jr. could be 4th, and everyone arguing for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the lowest on that list would have a very compelling argument. You know, you talk about the wide receiver over the Chargers, whose name I can't remember at this point, but regardless, it's not important. But Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors, guys, they just had better seasons than Marvin Harrison Jr. And Marvin Harrison Jr. was taken before both of those guys. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. has been in the gym. He's been a gym rat. People have been all about him in his sophomore season, saying that he's probably going to be awesome. And as a rookie, his season was fine. But he's always going to be tied to Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Ladd McConkey, the receiver for the Chargers. I don't think you can talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. being the end-all, be-all, best wide receiver in that class until he shows it. So when I see Pro Football Focus rank the Arizona Cardinals the 18th best wide receiving core, to me it seems like Trey McBride is doing a lot of lifting there. Meaning Pro Football Focus doesn't respect Marvin Harrison Jr. that much. And to me, I would say, well, why would they? He had a fine rookie season. But Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors were objectively better, and you can make an argument Ladd McConkey was just as good. I'm not into coddling players. I'm into the truth. And as someone last year who argued heavily that Joe Alt would be the better pick because I like bookend tackles on each side, Paris Johnson Jr., Joe Alt, instead of flashy wide receivers, I got mocked for it. I didn't hate the Marvin Harrison Jr. pick. I'm not going to act like I was anti-Marvin Harrison Jr. I made a lot of positive stuff for him. But positional value matters. And wide receiver isn't that important when it comes to positional value. Left tackle is. And when you take a wide receiver, number 4 overall, his expectations are through the roof. It's not the same as it is other wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, well, maybe not Malik Neighbors, but Brian Thomas Jr. and Ladd McConkey's expectations were lower, and they exceeded past them. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s was through the roof, and I'm not sure he touched the roof. 885 yards, 8 touchdowns is great, and you could blame Drew Petzing. I don't think you can blame Kyler Murray, given the fact that DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Jefferson and Larry Fitzgerald all had crappier quarterbacks throughout their careers and were still awesome. The expectation for someone you take for the 4th overall pick is Fitz, is Marvin, is Justin Jefferson, is DeAndre Hopkins. And I get it. Run first offense. My guy Brian Abdullah in the chat. I would agree with him. Some of that is on Petzing. But at the end of the day, if you are a number 1 wide receiver, you just have to make it happen. It's not me trying to pick or be a contrarian when it comes to the Marvin Harrison Jr. saga. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to give you guys a fair view of what Marvin Harrison Jr. is, because your expectations are through the roof. People are expecting him to go 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns and a average catch of like 15 yards a catch. Can we, in 100 plus catches this year, can we pump the brakes just a little bit? It's not fair to have those expectations until Marvin Harrison Jr. is at least a 1,000-yard wide receiver. And this is not me saying that he sucks. That is nonsense. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a very good player in this league. But the 4th overall pick, if you redid the draft today, is he a top 10 pick? I think he still goes in the top 15 given his tools. But can we be honest? Or do you want me to wave the pom-poms? Do you want to call me a mouthpiece like people have called me before for the Phoenix Suns? Or do you want to be fair? Marv's rookie season was fine. And I think he's a little overrated when it comes to Cardinals fans. I just think he is. A little. This isn't me saying he is terrible, bad wide receiver. None of that. But it does feel like he's gotten a smidge, a touch overrated. Until he shows us he at least has the capabilities to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Pro Football Focus, I think, has it right for now. The Cardinals wide receiving core doesn't look great. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome, and I have full belief that he can be, this isn't a Marvin Harrison Jr. sucks video. This is a being honest Marvin Harrison Jr. video. If he can unlock this team And he's a 1,250-yard wide receiver this year. And he's got double-digit touchdowns. And he's got 100-plus catches. You guys were all right. 100%. But what I will say is, for now, the rookie season points to me as probably a number 1 wide receiver, but not a top 15 wide receiver in the league. And when you take a guy that high, you expect him to be a top 15 guy in the league. We can't change our expectations just because you didn't like the outcome. And blame Kyler Murray. That's nonsense. All good wide receivers, all elite level wide receivers, doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They always figure out a way to get theirs. Fitz, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson. I mean, guys, look around the league. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, no one thinks Jared Goff is amazing, but still, Amon-Ra St. Brown or that's just the standard. Or Jackson Smith and Jigba. His quarterback was Geno Smith last year. So, my point is, pump the brakes a little bit on the Marvin Harrison Jr. love fest until he shows us he can do it. Or the slander. Like I saw, listen, I love my guys over at PHNX Cardinals, Johnny and Bo, but they put out a show yesterday. It was MHJ slander, and that's what inspired this video. Was, people are slandering Marvin Harrison Jr. No, I think people are fair about Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. He is shown right now, might be the 4th best wide receiver in his own draft, behind Ladd McConkey, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. And I'm just talking statistically. Ladd McConkey, you could definitely argue. The other two, you may not. And I was the same guy that was fighting tooth and nail with Giants fans and Jaguars fans that we got the best guy pre-NFL season last year. And he's got all the tools. And he's completely committed. However, we can only go as so far until we put pen to paper. And I like Marv. I think Marv's awesome. I hope he's amazing. I hope he's the next Larry Fitzgerald. I hope he surpasses Larry Fitzgerald. And he just might. However, we have to see it before we start calling him the next great thing, the next Larry Fitzgerald. I'm into being honest, guys. I'm into being honest. And my guy King Brian in the chat, Marv got the same problem Kyle Pitts got. The targets aren't consistent enough. I think Kyle Pitts just stinks, man. And you're talking to someone who likes watching Florida Gators football, and it's just a bust in the NFL. It's been 5 years. At some point, you got to break out. So I'm probably leaning towards probably just not a great player. All right, guys. Listen, man, I almost think I almost think my stream is messed up. There's so many people watching this morning. Usually we're topping off at like 20, 25 people. There are 50 people in the chat this morning, if I'm not mistaken. So that's awesome. I understand there's a lot of news going on right now. I appreciate you guys making the Ben Garcia Show a part of your day. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but most importantly, like. If you don't want to subscribe because you hate me, that's okay. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If there's a social media platform, I am there. Go there immediately and tell me why you love me, or tell me why you hate me, or say nothing at all if you're one of those shy people. But I appreciate interacting with you guys, and I appreciate everyone being in here in the chat this morning. Again, I just asked that you guys leave a like on the video. I am here every day, Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. That's when the normal start time is for the Ben Garcia Show. However, there also might be a show tomorrow on Friday, given the Kevin Durant stuff. So keep your eye out for here on the show. But I will put out an announcement if there is going to be a special edition of the Ben Garcia Show tomorrow, but normally Monday through Thursday. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. And until tomorrow, potentially, but probably Monday, it's been the Ben Garcia Show.